Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve optimal health. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for What Would I Do? In today's episode of Natural Health Podcast, we discuss this week's question or questions I kept confidential, and I read them and answer them as if it was me. Hence why it is called What Would I Do? The information provided is not to be taken as advice and solely for information purposes only. I'm not here to cure, treat, and provide medical advice. I'm here to educate and inform you so you are able to take steps towards optimal health. Please discuss any medical issues with your healthcare professional or any lifestyle changes. Let's get into today's question. You are here to find out about the question and what my thoughts are on it and what would I do. Today's question is, I have adrenal fatigue and I have been told I am magnesium deficient. How does magnesium help adrenal fatigue, and what is a good magnesium supplement? What an absolutely great question, because there are so many of you who have adrenal fatigue and you may be magnesium deficient and you're like, what supplement do I use? Let's get straight into it. Let's first look at adrenal fatigue, right? I'm not here today to argue if adrenal fatigue is real or if adrenal fatigue is not real, right? The thing is there's so many things going on about it's real, it's not real. I'm not going to argue that today in this episode. I'm going to agree with the individual that wrote in and understand, okay, you have adrenal fatigue. But some of the symptoms include, no matter what the wording is, the symptoms include of adrenal fatigue or failure or whatever you want to call it, right? HPA dysfunction, which is the new word for it. Absolutely amazing, right? So fatigue is one of them, clearly. Difficulty getting to sleep, difficulty waking up, sugar cravings, salt cravings, unexplained weight loss, weight gain, lack of motivation, brain fog. So funny, such a huge range of symptoms there are. Usually is accompanied with long-term chronic stress, right? So that's kind of what adrenal fatigue is. But let's look at the magnesium connection, because that was one part of your question, right? So magnesium, one of my absolutely favorites, is a cofactor for more than 325 enzyme reactions. A lot, right? In DNA and neurotransmitters in the bones, heart, and brain, in every single cell of the body. So let's go a little bit back into history. In the 1990s, the average intake of magnesium was 475 to 500 milligrams a day. Today, it is 175 to 225 mgs daily, which is like less than half of what it used to be, right? Which means only 1/3 of American and Australian adults are getting the magnesium intake that's required for them, right? Magnesium deficiency causes a lot of health issues, right? Including atherosclerosis, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, and certain types of cancers, right? The body absolutely needs magnesium as it acts both on the pituitary and adrenal levels, right? In the pituitary gland, it modulates the release of ACTH, which I've spoken a lot about, a hormone that travels to the adrenal gland, stimulates the cortisol release, and it's got to do with adrenal fatigue, right? In the adrenal gland, it maintains a healthy response to ACTH, keeping cortisol levels within the range what it's supposed to be. As a result, magnesium is a must for maintaining the homeostasis of the HPA axis. Therefore, it is a must for adrenal function and not getting adrenal fatigue, right? So patients who may have difficulty with memory, concentration, depression, empathy, fatigue, emotional lability, irritability, nervousness, anxiety, insomnia, migraine, headaches. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on and on. Autism, ADHD, if you may be low in magnesium. Studies show that magnesium replenishment, restoring normal levels of the mineral, produce a positive effects on the mood and cognition, healthy eating behavior, healthy stress response, better quality of sleep, and better efficiency in other modalities, right? So the thing here is that this study says that it's going to assist with adrenal fatigue, right? So the thing is, why may you be low magnesium at the start? That's what I want to answer your question, right? So it may be due to stress. So I said at the start, I said chronic stress may cause adrenal fatigue, right? So why may you be low magnesium? Because of that chronic stress. That chronic stress may have reduced your magnesium, right? It may be physical, emotional, mental, and so forth, because constantly in our reality, in our society, it drains body of magnesium. In fact, studies show inverse relationship between cortisol and magnesium. The higher the magnesium, the lower the cortisol. And usually with adrenal fatigue, it starts off with absolutely high cortisol, right? So stress robs the body of your magnesium, but the body must have magnesium to respond to stress. So you're stressed out, you're really stressed, your magnesium goes low. But for you to be able to deal with this stress, your magnesium needs to be high. So it is an absolutely crazy relationship. I love that relationship because now we know that magnesium can assist, right? So symptoms of magnesium deficiency, like I mentioned earlier, muscle twitches, cramps, headaches, migraines, anxiety, insomnia, trouble sleeping, constipation, brain fog, low stress response, low bone mineral density, low thyroid, low high blood pressure, and so forth, right? So essentially, being stressed out depletes you of your magnesium. So there you go. But then also is when you're stressed, we have behaviors that reduce our magnesium, such as junk food, not sleeping, medications, and so forth, right? So let's get into the questions. What questions? I would ask myself, are you on any medication? This medication may be reducing your magnesium. Do you drink coffee? This may be reducing your magnesium. Do you drink alcohol? Do you drink soft drinks? Do you eat the traditional Australian or American diet? Are you stressed out? And what I mean by stressed out, it doesn't mean I can deal with it. I mean, are you actually stressed, or have you been stressed in the last few years, right? What is your intake of magnesium foods, and are you vitamin B1, B6, C or D deficient, because this can impact your magnesium? These are just some of the questions I would ask myself, is what stressful events occurred around you, right? And are you eating a lot of junk food, a lot of processed meals, a lot of meals that are not doing you any good, right? What does your day look like? Are you stressed as soon as you wake up? Do you go to sleep stressed? How are you sleeping? Are you doing any meditation, any breathing exercises? Are you doing things that calm you? Do you have me time, right? What would I do, right? Well, the number one thing that I would do is I would actually ensure that my diet is filled with magnesium. As I said, these days we're taking about 175 milligrams of magnesium, and it used to be like 400 milligrams of magnesium. That is crazy. That is such a low amount of magnesium, right? What are magnesium high foods? I would ensure that these foods are in my diet every single day. Leafy greens, almonds, eggs, kelp, cashews, cacao, seeds, beans, right? So when we think about those foods, they're all absolutely healthy foods for us, right? The other thing that I would also do is I would ensure that my diet is filled with vitamin B1, B6, vitamin C, and vitamin D, as these help with the absorption of magnesium. So you may actually even have enough magnesium in your diet, but if you're low in these B vitamins, C and D, which a lot of us are low in vitamin D, we will not be able to make the most out of the magnesium that we are taking in. So it's so much complex than just eating magnesium, right? I would also ensure that my diet is not filled with foods that may reduce this magnesium, right? Such as heavily processed foods, right? Heavy processed foods, but also stress. I would ensure that I have stress management techniques in place for me to ensure that I don't chew through that magnesium, okay? I would not use magnesium. So in regards to supplements, before I get into the supplements, let's go back to the stress management. So I would make sure that I'm absolutely try to reduce my stress as much, but if I don't reduce my stress, I make sure that I know how to manage my stress load, my stress levels, right? And ensure that the days that I am stressed, I make myself a stress mix. So what that stress mix is let's say a few seeds, some cashews, some boiled eggs, and so forth, to ensure that I have enough magnesium throughout the day, right? But now let's get to your question about what is the best magnesium supplement. Well, let's first talk about the one that you should not probably take, and that is magnesium oxide. It's an absolutely poorly absorbed magnesium and causes loose stools, and it's just kind of, for me, a waste of money, right? Absolute waste of money. So the magnesium that will help with this particular adrenal fatigue stress response would be magnesium glycinate, probably the best form if there is adrenal issues. There are different magnesiums which will be beneficial for different things, but for you, essentially, the thing that I would take is magnesium glycinate, which is probably the best form for this. I would take about depends, right? 100 to 300 milligrams, depending on the status that you're currently at. And you need to confirm this with your healthcare professional to ensure that you're taking the right dose at the right time. Okay, I hope that this sheds some light to your question. Anyone listening who may have a similar issue. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Mihaela.Raguz on Instagram, and I'll be in touch with you and hopefully answer your questions via the Natural Health Podcast. Remember, you are not alone in this journey to optimal health. I am here to assist you and make this journey a pleasant one. Until next Wednesday, love you.